Welcome back to Offroad Outlaws, y'all, and in this video we're going to be doing another deep dive on a vehicle that y'all particularly picked out in the last garage tour short that I did. Now, in the last garage tour short, we did a sort of part 2 where we looked at vehicles on the far end of my garage, mostly vehicles that I hadn't driven in a very long time, and I got a lot of requests to do a deep dive on this, which is essentially an Offroad Outlaws recreation of Ken Block's RaptorTrax. Now, right here at the top of the video, I want to go ahead and say rest in peace, Ken Block. I actually had the chance to meet Ken Block on a work trip a long time ago, many years ago, and it's still honestly insane to even think about what happened. The fact that, like, I'm not even going to get into it because I'm going to get very, very, very emotional if I get into it, and I still have a build breakdown of a truck to do, but I will probably talk a little bit more about it in the comment section. It's a very, very, very sad situation, and it honestly, like, it still hurts to even think about it. So before we get any further into that, my plan for this build breakdown is we're going to go through the suspension setup, the axle setup, the tuning, all that good stuff, and I'll show y'all what's going on with the livery. Although I want to go ahead and give a disclaimer, I did not make the livery. I had nothing to do with making the livery on this truck. I believe I received it as like a gift or something like that. It was a long time ago, and I don't fully remember the specifics of how I got this thing, but I'm going to do my best to go through what I can and give y'all as much info and background on it as I can. So, without any further ado, let's head on back to the garage and see what this thing is all about. So back here in the garage with the RaptorTrax, let's start off in the tuning. Now, we're going to finish later on with the customization and all of the, like, you know, what I can go through of, like, with the livery and stuff like that. But we're going to start with the tuning and break all that down. We're running a Solid Axle Pro heavy duty front and back, obviously with tracks. And with these tracks, obviously, it's going to give you a very different driving dynamic and driving feel and driving character, all that good stuff. And then if we go into the suspension tuning, axis width is going to be set at 0.10. Damping is going to be 3,095 in the front. This is all front specs right now. Shocks are going to be Shock 2 at a size of 1.8 with a stiffness of 13,773. You could just say 13.8. To be honest, it's not going to be all that much of a difference. Travel is going to be maximum 0.7. Axle type is going to be 0, and brake type is also going to be 0. Moving on to the back, we're going to have an axis width once again of 0.1, or rather 0.10. Sometimes people like to hear the whole number, and sometimes other people just say 0.1 because if it's a 0, you don't necessarily need to mention it, at least not in mathematical terms. But I'm also not a mathematician. I'm actually terrible at math. So we're not going to talk about math either in this video. That's a painful subject. Back again with the damping in the rear, 3,000, or rather 3,034. Nearest makes no difference, 3,000. Rear steer 0, shocks 2, shock size 1.8, same as the front. Stiffness 13.5, and then travel 0.7, so maximum. Brake type 0 and axle type 0. Relatively simple setup, to be honest. Now, although it might be worth actually going back through and refining that setup once again, because this truck was built, I want to say, probably 3 or more updates ago, because it was many years back that this thing was built. Wheels and tires, obviously, you would have to uninstall the tracks. The tracks are a fixed size and a fixed width, so you're not going to be customizing them at all. Now, gear tuning. You got stage 5 gear tuning with gear ratios of 3.0, 1.4, 0.9, 0.7, and 0.6 with a low gear of 2.0. Honestly, those could probably use some tweaking. Again, this hasn't been touched in a very long time, but I still wanted to go over the gearing with y'all because it's kind of that's what it's in right now. Like, that's the state that it's in right now, so that's the state that y'all are going to hear about it in. Dyno run. Now, it's already got a perfect setup. I don't know if I can actually run the dyno with the tracks. I thought it wouldn't let me, but here we go anyway. 705 and 529. Honestly, this thing could really benefit from a diesel swap and a turbo. I don't know if it's running turbos or supercharger, but we'll have to go back and check in a moment. Flex-wise, I've never actually flex tested this truck, but I imagine it's pretty dang good. Okay, so the rear does not come off the ground until 29 degrees of flex in the front. That's really good. That's really, really good. Let's see about a drop test. Let's see how smooth it is. Oh, wow. Okay, I don't want to mess with the damping at all because that's really smooth. That's like really, really smooth. Now, let's go into upgrades because I really want to see what's going on with this thing. So we've got, obviously, oh, come on, game, come on, there we go. We do not have a diesel swap, and it seems that we are on we are running a turbo. Okay, so it's a gas engine setup, but a stage 4 turbo. I am actually going to well, we might do that a little bit later on in the future, but I will install NOS. I will definitely install NOS so it's there and we can use it and we don't have to worry about it even if we do forget to put the special abilities on. Now, for the customization. So the body, front bumper-wise, we're running option 3. Fender-wise, we're running option 1. Rear bumper is option 1. Bed, option 1. And then cage, option 2 for the roof rack. Steps are going to be option 2, and then lighting is going to be option 4 with the basically just the roof light bar. And then, oh, that game crashed. So after I was so rudely interrupted by a random game crash, let's see if we can get through the shop and actually, well, show y'all the rest of the parts. I think we were somewhere around snorkel, which there isn't one, so forget about that. There's no spare tire, so 0 on that. And then nothing for the front end, accessories, nothing for windshield protection, although we do have option 2 for the front lighting, and then we also have no winch, but you can add one if you would like. Then we have the high lift jack up top, no body protection panels, and as far as exhaust options go, it's actually 0, although since we've been through a lot of different updates since then, you can go ahead and add whatever exhaust options you feel would be right for you. And then we do have the white HIDs, which is option 2, that really ties the front end of the truck together really, really well. Rack option 1, and then repair pack option 1 as opposed to what would be the toolbox, but I stick with the repair pack on this truck. And then mirrors are option 1 because they are the original Raptor mirrors, and then that's going to do it for all of the physical parts. Now, we don't have anything in terms of flags. Horns were not a thing when this truck was added to the game, so we're going to probably go ahead and set one up right now. Let's see what we want. Not that one. Well, actually, let me pitch it down just almost all the way. I still don't like it. So let's see. That one's okay. That one's all right. That one's eh. That one's eh. Let's see if I pitch this down all the way. I don't hate that, but at the same time, I kind of want a truck horn. That'll do. For now, anyway. I mean, it's whatever, but it'll be fine. Now, paint-wise, this is going to be a metallic paint job truck, and that right there is going to be your base color. Now, axle color was not a thing when this truck originally came out, but I think I might go ahead and kind of experiment with adding a little bit of axle color because the real one has a lot of different color accents underneath the truck. And as a matter of fact, this color that the Hoonigan logo is in on the side of the bed is actually the same color as the tracks and the gears inside the track assembly in the real world. So I might try to kind of realize that with the axle color or something to that effect. It's not going to have the same presence as the real one because obviously the real one you can literally paint the gears and all that stuff, or rather the cogs. I'm not sure what you actually, if you call those gears or cogs, or someone that's really, really familiar with tracks will be able to correct my terminology on that, which I would really appreciate if you could correct my terminology on that in the comment section down below, because when it comes to the inner workings of tracks like that, I am a blithering idiot. So again, don't worry about it. Now, I'm kind of torn as well on the other accent color. Maybe this kind of really dark green. It looks black from this angle, but I think it's a really dark green. So if we go, or maybe like a really dark blue-ish, like a really dark blue-green, something like that. I mean, that doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. That doesn't look at all like what I wanted it to look like. Oh, no. Although, well, let's see. Let me see. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer to that. Just a little. That doesn't look bad. That doesn't look bad. I like that, and I'm sure we could get a little bit closer, you know, by going more in depth with it, but I don't mind that. I think that looks okay, and I think it looks like a little bit of a nice update to the truck. Now, we can't obviously do anything with the wheels and tires because, well, this truck doesn't have wheels and tires. It has gears and cogs and tracks, so don't worry about that. Now, wraps-wise, there's not much to mess with in here because there's no, like, specific wrap. It's just a massive amount of decals. It's actually 40 layers. Now, over here on the side, you can go through all of these, and looking through these will give you an idea of how this livery is designed. However, keep in mind, I did not make it, so I cannot break it down. I can only show you the pieces of it, and you can kind of take your own inspiration from there, because once again, I did not build this livery, so I am not whatsoever familiar with the process of making it. I'm sure the original creator of this livery is intimately familiar with how it's made, but actually, if you want to know how they made the monster logo, those are all the layers of the monster logo right there. And it actually, the monster logo itself doesn't seem like it was all too hard to build, and a lot of it is logos. Apart from the actual, like, you know, digital-ish camo wrap, a lot of it is text, and most of it, if we go back up, is all the different shapes that went into the digital camo livery. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like it is the most complicated livery in the world, and you could probably, with a lot of time and dedication, you could probably recreate it. However, I don't know if I would be up to recreating it. I might if I had a lot of time to put into it, but that's, you know, that's something for the future probably. But with that being said and done, y'all, that has been a full build breakdown of Ken Block's RaptorTrax here in Offroad Outlaws. And if there are any other build breakdowns that y'all would like to see, let me know in the comment section down below. Why is my voice leaving the chat? Holy crap. My voice was like, bah. But either way, once again, hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time.